Her last,
You're kidding, my God. I saw you yesterday when I was leaving. You were coming.
yeah. Mine too, but I have enough way back actually.
We go across.
She's really warming up that camp.
All right, Dad.
Broken bones.
Charlie? Yeah. They're ready. People want to start coming in.
Thank you. The line we get.
A little bit to the west to do that, Rod.
Christian, you haven't done it.
Well, I didn't. Where'd Tim go?
Right now. Okay. Okay, Gail. That's right.
Well, Margaret, the thing that I can remember most of you about was what meant so much to me back when you looked on the brighter side of life.
Oh, I'm still looking on the bright
And that's
side.
what you took me when I sat down here a while ago. You'd be, let's say everything's been so good to you for 98 years. God willing, you're going to go 2 more of them.
Well, I am.
And your children, and of course Nina and Doris, many times I can remember when they went out to Dad on the farm, and Dad said these others never quit running. They went from into the farm to the other.
Well, your dad was a wonderful guy.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to say. How about you?
Well, not too much.
No, we don't talk much, do we? I like to have you talk. Sometimes tell us, play history from way back, though.
I can remember it quite a ways
Yeah,
back.
I know you know a lot about that.
Grandmother Gray told me a lot of the clay history. When they came up there from Missouri in '86,
Yeah, 86.
and then in '88 they had that terrible blizzard.
Yeah, that was in Ansley.
They stopped at a little, they had a homestead at a little place near the creek, but something or other happened and they didn't like that place, so they moved up there up to that one on the hill.
Yeah,
And there's still the clay property.
yeah, it's still there. Yeah, they're tearing the house down now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I bet you could tell us a whole lot. We ought to get that on tape for you, so we could remember it. I could remember it, and you can.
I got a pretty good memory.
Yeah. Okay.
Except for right now.
Yeah.
I can forget what I'm supposed to remember right now.
Well, we know now.
Sitting outside, everybody's been talking to you, huh?
Yeah.
I guess this is a time to thank you for everything that you've done and the roads that we've been through together. And I want to thank you for the biscuits you used to make with jelly and jam in the morning instead of cereal.
And you remember when I told you I had the basement full of jelly, and you couldn't wait to see that basement full of jelly.
Never saw a basement. Never saw a basement. We don't have basements there. But yeah, I think that was probably, I was about 4 years old, 5. And we lived over there on Fulcher Street in that old music home with Bill and Artie and Dad. And you took care of me and Carolyn. And,
Yeah.
and
Well, you took care of yourself. You found you a job that led to a pretty good future.
well, that was later on. But I want to thank you for all those good times and showing us a family that we didn't have and never did get through there.
Yeah.
And
Artie and I gave you kids the most security you ever knew.
that's right. Dad used to leave us and we'd cry because he was the last person we had except for you and Artie.
Do you remember when he went in for that cancer surgery?
Sure
You
did.
were sure you'd never see him again.
Yeah, but Grandma was there again, huh?
But you know, it was so bad that they had to go clear down and scrape the bone underneath the chin.
Mm-hmm.
If he wouldn't have lasted a month if I hadn't have got on him.
Mm-hmm.
I come along there and I said, now Jim, I'm here to stay with these kids. You get out of here and get that sore on your lip took care of. So he finally did.
We ate good while you were there too, huh?
Yeah.
Hadn't eaten like that.
my brother pretty much summed it up. Grandma was always there, and so was Aunt Margaret, for all the times that we didn't have anybody. And she's kept us together as a family, and that's one of the reasons I'm sure Gary's here today and I'm here today. And I love every single one of you, including my grandma. And I have to leave because I'm going to cry.
First, I have to get this little picture of my great-grandson showing here. Are you listening to me? Because I'm talking to you. All right. Okay. I'm supposed to make a little speech. So I wanted to tell him that I'm sure that I remember when I was born and you saw that little old red-headed baby, that you didn't know whether to keep me or not. But you decided to keep me, and I think you were really happy about it. Because if it hadn't been for me, it'd have been an awful dull life for you.
Well, you did create a little enthusiasm.
That's why I was born. And then I wanted to, one little instance in my life as a childhood, which all these years has stood out for me, was when we lived west of Brighton, and Dora and I herded cows on the road for the thinnings, and every little penny and every little nickel, and I don't think we ever got much more than a nickel, we put in this little pocketbook, and that was to be our 4th of July celebration. So every day in went that money, and if I remember, we had a pretty good purse full of money, and the 4th of July came, we all piled into that car, and we got just down around the corner and on that bridge over the big creek, and you forgot the money. So we had to turn around and go back and get the money. But we all went to Elich's Gardens and really had a good time.
Well, I put everything I had into developing good youngsters out of it.
And if you hadn't saved that money and not spent it, we never would have made it. So,
Okay, still?
then,
The leg falling off there?
Mom, it's quite coincidental that Nina and I are both thinking of our life around Brighton, Colorado. Because I often think of a Christmas season when we lived there west of Brighton, and Helen was about 2 and Charlie was about 4 months old. And Burnley School was having their Christmas program, and we were practicing for that to get ready for it. But on the day before, Papa got sick, and he couldn't drive. Mom didn't know how, so we couldn't go. But when we came home from school that day, you told us that we would go. So we hurried up and got our supper over with, and you got us ready. And you left Helen with Papa because he'd be able to take care of her. And you wrapped Charlie up in blankets, and we bundled up, and we walked in the evening in a sky filled with stars, bright moonlight, 1.5 miles to this school for our Christmas program. Well, that was the greatest thing to get to go to our Christmas program, but I didn't realize until later years how her arms must have ached. And she did that for us so that we could go to our Christmas program. And I often think about that when I get ready for Christmas myself.
Well, I tried to make Christmas a big thing.
You did, we always did.
We could have bread and milk through the week, but we did have a good Sunday dinner.
We remember that.
Okay, still pictures.
Okay.
Thank you.
My story won't go back quite that far, but it'll go back a little ways.
Well, we had some happy days. There has to be a little sunshine, or we wouldn't appreciate the rain. I remember your folks quite well, too. I'll be able to tell you.
Okay.
Bring pictures?
All right, still picture. Gosh, not like that's coming up. You know, it's not up here pretty soon.
Back down to us.
By the way, there's so many good times you have to say about your mother. I remember you sending me off to college, and I will never know where you got the money to do it. I didn't last very long, but it gave me a start on the kind of a job that I could earn some money anyway. Do some bookkeeping and typing.
Well, you washed towels to pay your tuition.
I did, but you had to have some to start me.
Yeah.
All the good times that we have come up all the time. You can't think of them all at one time. They come up off and on always. And we are so appreciative of still having you here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be with you too.
And you wonder sometimes, but because we need somebody around to stir up our memories sometimes, to keep us all happy. You've made the whole family stay together and be happy and stay happy through your goodness and your leadership.
You were my everything. My family was everything to me.
I know. We hope we can do that to our families and our children.
Well, I've got to start it.
You started it, we'll keep going.
Do that.
Okay, we love you. You clean up, children.
Oh, I've already been crying, so I don't know what I can do when I sit down here. It's Helen's family, but I just wanted to tell you, I think you did a fine job of raising your family, and I know most of it, a lot of it was alone. They've all turned out real good. I love them all. And I particularly know your feelings of my favorite organizations, the Masons and Eastern Star, and I'm glad that you approve of everything that we do at the organization.
And can I tell about you crying at your own wedding?
Yeah, I know I did. That's because Helen had the whole pillow was kneeling on. I didn't have anything to kneel on.
Well, let's see, it's my turn now. Gee, I remember so many things about my growing up, but one of the things I remember is those big pancakes at breakfast time that covered a whole plate. We could have 6 or 10 of them if we could eat them, but Jim was the only one who could eat 10 of them. I could never do that.
Do you remember when the old black dog had so many she couldn't eat?
She took them out and buried them.
She took it down in where you was digging the cesspool, and it must have been at least 6 foot deep.
And
she buried it in that soft dirt, and
That's
then
right.
she leaked back out again.
That's right. And I remember that we always on Friday evening, we would, if we had the salmon, we'd have salmon patties and fried potatoes.
Yeah.
And Sunday afternoon was those delicious dinners after church. But best of all, I remember that when I played football for Ansley, you were my biggest fan. You were the one that cheered me on, told me I could do more than anything.
And I remember some of the others there that looked around at me as if to say, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah.
Named Sandra.
Yes. Well, I love you, Mom. Okay.
Sentimental family. I've had tears through this whole thing. You know, there's so many memories with Mom. I really can't begin to describe the feelings that I've had through the years. And I remember some darn many of these things when Mom and I were, you know, pretty much by ourselves. Keith was the baby of the family, and gosh, we took care of those cows and milked and separated, and Mom made butter and cottage cheese, and we peddled them all around town. I remember those things.
And I milked
so well.
the cows.
Yeah, and I milked the cows, that's right. The winter of 48 and 49 was one of the roughest of our lives, and we made it through that. And I remember the night that we were
we were all gonna shingle the roof on the house, and Mom and I were at home, and everyone had left, gone back home for the day, and it poured down rain, just poured down rain. Mom come to the stairs and hollered up there and says, "John, we better do something about this." And so Mom and I got up in the attic and put down towels and crawled up on the roof and put a tarp over the whole roof. And I remember I went sliding down that tarp clear out onto the ground. What a night it was. But that's just one more of the memories that I remember in those days. And like I said, there's a doggone many of them. When Wesley and I were alone in Missouri, well, here was Mom down there to help take care of us. And like I said, I'm the sentimental one, and Wesley's the same way. He cried all through his own wedding. But there's a doggone many good years in there, Mom, and I really appreciate them. It really got me started down the right road, and I don't know what I ever done if you hadn't been there to push me off to school and push me here and push me there to make sure I got started down the right life and right road in life and got things done like I should. And I appreciate every bit of it. And I hope you just keep pushing on me the rest of your days. I love you, Mom.
And I love you.
Fairy tales to tell like John does.
Well, you wasn't with me that long.
No. So I'm just going to say hello and wish you a happy birthday. Okay?
Hey, pictures.
Get you in here. Okay.
Well, Mom, what they all don't realize is that they've got all these memories and everything, but I think I probably had the best time with you because I always had you to myself.
Yeah.
I really did.
By the time you come along and they moved out, there was more to do something with than they had been before.
You might have had to do a little bit more with me too. John talks about keeping you on the right path there, and I remember my path went pretty crooked there sometimes, Mom, and you did come along and straighten me out a lot of times, and I didn't like it at the time, but there's a lot of things that I remember. Some of the things are good. I still haven't forgotten. Everybody won't let me forget the day that you broke your hip, you know, so that wasn't really my fault. I was just trying to get out of the way so she wouldn't hit me so hard. And I remember all them darn chickens that we used to get every year. And I hate them chickens, you know, I really hated them chickens, Mom. And the garden, getting out and having to dig the garden and everything, but, you know, when I got all done, it really didn't hurt me all that much. And it was good for me, and I've always appreciated all the times that we've had together. And when I was in Korea,
some nice ones.
When I was in Korea, you wrote me a long letter and explained a lot of things and really made me understand a lot about your feelings and the way you see things and feel about things, and made me understand a little bit more about why I am the way I am and why I feel the way I do, Mom. And I sure do love you for it all.
Hey, Dee. You can tell her now how you let the goats into high school.
You and Lonnie Cunningham? It really was you that turned off the electricity and sent the sheriff upstairs.
No, you guys got it all wrong. See, that's part of that crooked path, you know. Between the town cop, Mr. Shepherd there, and Mom, they pretty well straightened me out, I guess.
Mr. Shepherd, he come to get after you, and I didn't know what you'd been into, and I said, he's just still in bed, just walk right out upstairs. Could have shot me for that.
Oh. Boy, he'd come up and he would just chew me up one side and down the other, too.
What he had done, he'd climbed the telephone pole and unhooked the wires.
For Halloween.
The whole town was in darkness.
A little bit. Yeah. Honey, he's going to take one more.
One more time.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Charles, too? Okay.
And Johnny, I'm so glad he brought you home.
I didn't see it fade out, so you're going to have to check it.
Yeah, it's through recording.
we can do a little review here, see how you did.
Oh, I can remember a lot about Grandma's cherry pies.
Well, let's see. Let me go ahead and get this done.
Get you down.
Oh, do you?
My dad.
I don't care. Maybe it'd be
I
good to
remember we
read the
used to
letter
come
from
down there and
you.
he'd go, you know, the whole family come down and he'd go in there. My dad,
What do
we're
you
get there
think?
and get them people something to eat.
Good.
When you have something to eat,
Maybe we won't have much, but it'll tide you over. You get home to where you can get.
Okay, still pictures.
Still pictures, huh? Yeah. I got a camera laying right there in front of you, Keith.
Oh, okay.
I think there's 4 pictures on there. Now you have to, you know how to operate that boat, but just that bottom slide in there, or the bottom below the lens there, you got to slide that
That's
over.
it.
And
Okay.
if you want a flash on it, slide that flash to the right out there.
Oh.
I got 2 4th-generation pictures on there. Been on there since Christmas. So I can take off anyway.
Well, we
There we
have
go.
several 5-generation pictures among the family.
I'll see.
It's amazing how many.
There's 2 4th-generation pictures.
Yeah.
Doris and her mother and her
This
daughter.
little automatic is really nice.
Doris and mother and the youngest son and their kids. Right there, it's 2 4-generation pictures.
Screen film across there. Stick down in the end.
They won't even
Let
print
the
them
door
on paper
close
down
itself, unloads itself, focus itself.
This is so old.
I'm not through with this picture. I'll get up. I got the seat warm for you, Helen.
Okay. Helen's got a letter from Betty May she's gonna read.
Oh, Helen's going to read it? Oh, I thought Ward was going to read it.
They start on the older ones now again, John.
Yeah.
Hi, Grandma.
Always either whistling or singing. And no time did I have my chin on my breastbone.
Yeah.
That's right. Look this way. East.
I've had a good life.
Cross. Charles, yeah. There's somebody.
Okay.
Just push this about all it's ready to go.
It's ready to go. All I have to do is push it. Just push the button. It's ready to go. Yeah.
It was ready before you were, I'll tell you. Oh, shoot.
We always got along.
When I saw something approaching, I nipped it in the bud right now.
Yeah, I remember a few times.
Well,
Yeah, there was one time when we were down there and Margaret was with us, there was a time when she nipped it in the bud then too, right?
Yeah. Okay. Still?
You're up, kiddo.
what do you do here?
I'm done. Got it.
Oh, there's Tyler.
Margaret's too fast. I ain't ready for you yet, Margaret. You just have to wait a minute.
I'm glad. Well, I'm gonna go.
Yes, right here. Yeah.
Thank you.
You have to show us how to work your camera and go back and sit down. We don't know how to work, we don't know.
Push it halfway down and it'll focus.
Which, what?
That one right there?
Which button?
This button.
The little one right here?
Somebody come here.
Halfway and it'll focus and beep at you and then Push it all the way down. Yep.
Didn't get the first one. She's right here.
She's in there crying.
Who's the gross one in
Well,
track?
thank you
Who's
for
the gross
everything.
one?
I love you.
You guys are terrible. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, film goes.
That was hard, blow his nose.